my name is James Nicholson and welcome to my YouTube channel. In this video, I want to talk about the type of property that is going up in value. You see, we've got some more house price data, but this time they've got into a bit more granular detail on the type of property that is actually going up in value and what's going down in value. And that's really, really interesting because this is what a lot of us suspected, but now we've got some data to back it up. So before we jump into this, as always, if you haven't done already, do subscribe to the channel over there and hit the bell notification. We've got new content every single day. We've got property education, we've got market updates, interest rate updates, house price updates, and much, much more. So do subscribe over there. And while you're here, make sure you smash the like button, tickle the like button, do something to the like button, whatever you do to it, just make sure it turns blue over there. That really helps us with the YouTube algorithm and it helps the channel grow. And I really appreciate you for doing that. So, Halifax have updated their February data again. So they gave us data for February the first week of March, but it was just very basic data. And back then they told us that house prices for Feb were up annually 1.9%. So we've already got that data, but what we didn't have is the breakdown on the type of properties that are selling. And what they've confirmed is what a lot of people were suspecting, and that is that smaller properties are actually the ones that are selling at the moment. In fact, a lot of people seem to be downsizing, and that goes against what was happening during the pandemic. So when we had the pandemic, a lot of people were upsizing. They were looking to get property with gardens. They were looking to move out of flats in London and move down to the coastal areas like Hastings, Brighton, and those sorts of places. And those sorts of places did very, very well, the ones that had space. And so because we've got higher interest rates, we've had affordability crushed by that. Although it's improving, it isn't as good as it was a year or so or 2 years ago before the interest rates had these crazy rises that we've had. And so what is happening now officially is that people are moving into smaller properties. And because of that, the stability on the price range of those smaller properties is markedly doing a lot better than the bigger properties. And so the demand is up for smaller properties, and flats and terrace houses are the ones that are doing particularly well at the moment. So flats and terraced are, with new first-time buyers, 57% of them are going with flats or terrace. Now, this kind of makes sense. We've done some content in the last week or so where we talked about new build properties are going up at record rates at the moment. They're really absolutely crushing it. And most new build properties are actually flats, right? I live near Croydon and there are so many flats being built in that area at the moment. It's crazy. You just can't believe how many projects there are at the moment, and they'll probably complete those at the end of this year, early next year. And so that is where a lot of stuff is going at the moment. And so a lot of people are moving into flats and terrace houses. But what's the data on it? So flats, on an average, UK average, are up 2.7%. according to this Halifax data, which is interesting, right? And so that's their average that they're seeing, and that includes old flats as well. And so we know that the new build stuff, some of it's up more than 10%. Obviously that drags up a lot of stuff. And so, but we also can see from this that they're telling us that older flats and newer flats altogether are up 2.7%, which is not bad. And it does make sense, doesn't it? Like, if people are squeezed by interest rates, if they're concerned about their job, that they might move into a smaller property. Or maybe if they're looking to buy as a first-time buyer, then they're going to go for a smaller property to start with. So flats have done very, very well. Now, in Scotland, flats are up 5.7% on an annual basis. And that is because Scotland is having a bit of a boom as well. And so But not everywhere flats are more expensive. So in Yorkshire and the Humber, flats are actually down 2.9%. And that makes sense to me because I invest in Doncaster, which is in Yorkshire and the Humber. And so in that area, houses are just so affordable. And I never really understood. They do build flats there like they do in Croydon, where I'm from. But what you see is that they build flats in Doncaster and they want 150 grand for a flat, or a new build flat, but you can buy a whole house for 60. So it makes sense to me. If I was going on the property ladder in that area to live, I'd buy a house. Maybe an older house, but I'd buy a house. I'd rather have a house for 60 than a flat for 150. And so in Yorkshire and the Humber, flats have actually decreased. And that's just because affordability of houses is just so much better in that area. Terrace houses are up as well. And so terrace houses on average are up 2.6%. And in the northeast, which includes Yorkshire, they're up 7.6%. And that is because affordability is there. But also, I would argue, I don't have the data on this, but I'd have an educated guess that you're going to get landlords that maybe can't afford to buy and invest in Surrey, Sussex, London, those sorts of areas at the moment, because the numbers just don't stack at the current interest rates. And so they're looking further afield. They're looking in Doncaster, they're looking in Yorkshire and all Hull and Sheffield and other areas like that, because they can make a good rental yield in those areas. And that's what's pushing up prices in those areas. So this is interesting from Halifax. I like to get these breakdowns when we do get this kind of data, because it just shows that the more expensive houses, is what they're saying, they're just not going up. In fact, they're saying that the higher end properties, the detached properties, are down 1.6% on average, which makes logical sense. People can't afford those properties in today's market. And so they're moving into smaller investment properties or smaller properties to live in. And that is where the market is still quite hot at the moment. But that might change. At some point, interest rates will go down or the economy will stall. And so we could see a very different outlook. But what do you think about this Halifax data? Does this make sense to you? Is this what you would think, that people are moving into smaller properties, keeping that end of the market up? It shows that if there is a crash, it's more likely to be at the higher end properties first. I'm not saying these won't go down, but it is more likely that the higher end will crash before the lower end. Do comment below with your thoughts and observations. Do smash the like button. And if you want to get investing in property and learn how it's going, we're reducing the cost of the fundamentals of property investing until the bank holiday. So this bank holiday week and weekend, it is being reduced. Click below, grab a copy of the fundamentals of property investing while it's on discount. It's a great course. Hundreds of people have enrolled in that. So make sure you grab a copy while you're here. Do check out all the other content on my channel, including this video right here.